Namaste, I am Dr. Rinki Jadwani and I am a visiting faculty in Delhi Technological University in the Department of Humanities, and I welcome you all to this lecture on surrogacy. So in this second lecture on surrogacy, we will be doing what are some important ethical concerns related to surrogacy. With this, we will also be discussing some legal aspects related to the practice of surrogacy, and we will also try to analyze how the legal framework can help in making it a more ethical practice. We all know that infertility is a condition that affects an increasing number of individuals around the world. Reproductive problems and infertility have always exerted a strong psychological pressure. The World Health Organization has recognized that infertility should be considered as a disease in all respects, affecting the health and well-being of the people who suffer from it. The relevant developments in the field of medical technologies have provided more and more solutions to the problem of infertility, such as surrogacy agreements that have opened the way to new frontiers, raising many ethical and legal issues and discussions and blurring the boundaries between the biological and social basis of kinship. Though surrogacy is often deemed to be a treatment option for infertile couples or individuals or an alternative to adoption, and therefore it is celebrated as instrumental in realizing people's wishes to be parents, but it also entails multiple extremely complex ethical issues revolving around exploitation, inequality, gender, labor, and commercialization. Ethics comes into play when thinking about the gendered nature of surrogacy and intended parenting. Biologically, the surrogate has to be someone with the capacity to gestate and give birth, usually a woman. As gendered labor, surrogacy triggers important feminist concerns such as about bodily autonomy, vulnerability, inequality, and rights. For example, whether women who are surrogates maintain autonomy over their body when they are carrying a fetus for another individual or couple, or when decisions are being made about what happens to that fetus when there is some disagreement. There are also some feminist concerns like intended parenthood raises these feminist concerns too, such as on gendered roles and expectations. This includes whether women in particular feel that being mother is critical to being proper women, and hence why they might pursue surrogacy if they cannot carry their own children. On the one hand, it is argued that contract pregnancy curtail the dignity of the service provider, and on the other hand, it is also asserted that these choices are expressions of one's right over one's bodies and therefore, in fact, the sources of empowerment as well. We are therefore left with the need for adjudicating with regard to what is relatively more degrading for women, the commodification of her body or the denial and infringement of her autonomy. The main ethical concerns raised by surrogacy has to do with exploitation, which is often coupled with coercion in cases of commercial surrogacy. Commercial surrogacy has been termed by many critics with the charged phrase global baby business, and before it was banned in India in December 2018, It was estimated to be worth somewhere between $500 million and $2 billion. On the other hand, some make the argument that commercial surrogacy is in itself a form of debasement of human dignity and worth. Surrogacy degrades a pregnancy to a service and a baby to a product or a commodity that can be bought or sold. Most contracts between the surrogate and the intended parents insist that the surrogate abort the child if genetic tests show some abnormalities. This is seen as in direct conflict with the surrogate woman's alleged right to choose. But proponents of surrogacy deny this claim because they say that the baby in question is merely a property under contract and thus the question of choosing does not come at all. One more ethical concern is of uninformed consent in the case of commercial surrogacy. So, in this case, what happens is surrogates from economically disadvantaged communities cannot validly understand the complex nature of the agreement of surrogacy because their background circumstances are essentially coercive, which makes it impossible to make a free choice. Thus, it results in uninformed consent. In addition to the ethically controversial status of financial compensation under surrogacy contracts, other factors need to be taken into account. One is the educational level of the surrogates, in fact, plays a key role in terms of enabling them to fully understand the contract conditions, the risks that are involved in this practice, and even the medical procedures which they will have to undergo. Same-sex couples often opt for surrogacy to have a child that they and their partner can genetically relate with, since becoming parents through the traditional means like the heterosexual couples is not possible for them. In this case, their desire to have child is understandable because it roots from a more complex idea of identity, the conception of which can be traced down to their own struggles to exist and establish themselves as a couple in a society. But the limitation stems from the fact that these techniques are extremely costly and are therefore hardly within the reach of the masses as such. And finally, not all nations have legalized homosexuality, nor is single parenthood socially and morally acceptable everywhere. To stop the exploitation, our government passed surrogacy regulation bill and it was passed in our parliament in 2018. The bill does not allow homosexual couples to avail the service of surrogacy. The bill only allows Indian couples to conceive through this practice called surrogacy. The surrogacy bill has these following features. So, foreigners, non-resident Indians, overseas citizens of India, single people, homosexuals, live-in couples and married couples who already have a child are not allowed to avail surrogacy except if they have a child who is physically or mentally challenged or is suffering from a life-threatening disease. Commercial surrogacy is banned and altruistic surrogacy is allowed for Indian married couples who are infertile, and the surrogate mother and the couple must be close relative. However, the bill does not define who the close relative may be. The Surrogacy Regulation Bill, which outlawed surrogacy, was passed in 2018. The bill was criticized heavily by many experts, although it was passed with good intentions. There are some merits and demerits of the bill. So, we will discuss the merits and demerits of the surrogacy regulation bill. First, talking about the merits of this bill. So, by imposing a ban on egg donation and the sale of embryos, this will help in curbing child trafficking and other unlawful practices. Secondly, by including the provision that the intending couple should be married for at least 5 years, it is ensured that there is no marital discord and the couple is in a position to provide a stable home to the surrogate child, and there shall be no custody battles for the child later on. This bill promotes adoption. There are many children in orphanages that need homes, and they can only be adopted till the age of 15. So, adoption can be an option for those couples who already have children and those who are past the age limit set by this bill. In this industry, it is often the middlemen who execute the surrogacy agreements and take a large amount of money paid by the parents, and only about 25% of the sum goes to the surrogate mother. This bill was needed in places like Gujarat, where baby farms exist, that is, unprivileged women are collected and distributed as surrogates to potential parents. Now, talking about the demerits of this surrogacy regulation bill. So, first of all, it can be said that this bill ignores the right a woman has over her body. If a woman has consented to allow her body to be used in this process after knowing all the facts and risks and is being paid adequately for it, then there is no need for any legislature to decide how she should use her body. Secondly, there were a lot of women who were dependent on this practice as a source of income. So, putting a complete ban on this practice has led to a loss in earning opportunity for them. Policies need to be framed and laws need to be implemented in such a way that the issue is resolved without banning the entire industry. The third point is that the demand for surrogacy is not going to disappear suddenly because of the ban, and the bill will only lead to the creation of a black market that might increase the chances of exploitation of surrogate mothers, and they will not have any platforms to approach for legal recourse in case of a breach of contract. The government should ensure that the surrogates are properly informed about the medical and economic impacts of surrogacy. It should also be ensured that all surrogacy contracts mandatorily talk about the medical care and nourishment of the surrogates, not only during the pregnancy but also during the postpartum period. The biggest question that needs to be addressed is how non-payment for surrogacy would prevent exploitation. There is no guarantee that the altruistic surrogate mother will not be coerced to bear the child. This bill insists on altruistic surrogacy only through close relatives, which will ensure that the child and its birth mother will remain in close proximity all their lives. This will create a complicated situation full of emotional and ethical dilemmas. Thus, it is better if there is a certain amount of detachment in such procedures. And one more objection can come from right to life. So, we all know that right to life under Article 21 of the Constitution includes the right of reproduction and parenthood, and also the right to privacy. Accordingly, the government cannot interfere with how people decide to reproduce, and infertility should not be made a condition necessary for surrogacy. The practice of surrogacy has gone through many changes which reflect the position of society at that point of time. Between the years 2002 to 2018, India had become a hub for commercial surrogacy, and this practice was unregulated since there was no legislation governing this practice of surrogacy. However, instead of banning an idea totally, regulations should be made so that the idea does not become exploitative or does not get misused. Provisions must be made to save women from exploitation, but she should be the final decision maker as far as their body is concerned. Lastly, we need to think more in terms of bridging the gap between these legal norms and actual practices to make this practice of surrogacy more ethical in nature. In this lecture, we brought some of the important discussions on the ethical concerns related to the practice of surrogacy and the merits and demerits of surrogacy regulation bill, and what reforms can be done in the bill to make it more conducive. I hope this lecture would be helpful in understanding these above discussed topics. Thank you.